First of all, thanks, Amit. It's a nice session, and you have delivered the SQL related, whatever we are actually learning on the part. So, thank you so much for the session. Thank you first, Mohammed, for conducting this Global Power Platform Bootcamp for Saudi Arabia. And I'm very happy to present my second time here on this session, like end-to-end solution design using Microsoft Fabric. So the name is end-to-end design. So what kind of an end-to-end kind of an activities we are going to do it. So before moving on to the agenda, I'll just try to give myself an intro, and then I will walk you through how we are going to get it extract the data and try to make use of this Microsoft Fabric environment and try to design from the data ingestion, storing the data in the lake houses, and then Power BI related, how we are going to showcase the Power BI and the data model, and then creation of the semantic model and so on, the report building. Before moving on to this, I'll just try to give myself a brief. I'm Rajendra Ongul. I'm a Microsoft Data Platform MVP, and I'm a super user at Microsoft Fabric community. Currently, I'm working as an BA lead at Bosch, and I'm one of the organizer at Delhi Tech community. I'm a Power BI mentor and trainer as well. And if you want to get in touch with me, right-hand side, my social networking sites that are available, my personal mail ID, along with my blog group as well, dataanalyticgroup.com. Fine. Moving on to the agenda, already Microsoft Fabric, it has been covered, but I'll just try to give a glimpses of it, like a brief intro about it. And then I will walk you through how we are going to create a lake house and what are the various tools. By using this various tool, how we are going to get it, extract the data into the lake house. And from the lake house, what are the ways to navigate from one environment to another environment, like SQL analytics endpoint will be automatically get created. And from there, I'm going to showcase you the data modeling, semantic model approach, which Amit already showcased. And then I will start, maybe if time permits, I can showcase how we are going to build the report as well. But our main agenda here, so most of the projects in the real time, we will try to connect different types of data sources from different places. Like maybe I want to pull the data from like SQL Server database, and maybe I want to connect the data from Azure Blob storages. And sometimes you want to extract the data from some other sources, like maybe it's in flat file source systems like CSV or else Excel kind of a format. How we're going to pull it and store this data into the lakehouse, and what are the ways to combine these source systems by using what are the tools that are getting supported. I'm going to showcase this process. And if you have any questions, please post it in the chat box. I'm ready to answer at the end of the session. Fine. As I mentioned, here we are going to extract the data in 4 ways. Please observe here. First, I'm going to use a shortcut approach. So shortcut is nothing but is one of the feature in Microsoft Fabric. So without duplicating the data, I'm going to use existing warehouse, and I want to make use of the existing warehouse table into my another new set of projects. How we are going to make use of it by using a shortcut approach. And the next activity I'm going to showcase to you via Data Factory, how we are going to build a pipeline, try to pull the data that is orders table. The name I have provided, orders to sales order table. So for this, I'm going to use on-premises SQL database. And here the tool I'm going to provide, that is the Data Factory, Azure Data Factory. I will extract it and store the data into the lakehouse. And the next few tables, I'm going to fill it from the 3-dimension tables I name it. So 3 of the dimension tables, I'm going to extract it. One more tool that is supported from the lakehouse, that is Dataflow Gen 2. So it is almost, Dataflows is almost similar as like whoever familiar with Power BI, Power Query Editor. But here we are going to work on the cloud environment, online Power Query Editor environment. And the last approach, I'm going to showcase some of the files, 3 more files, which will be available in maybe in OneDrive. I will pull those dimension tables in the form of CSV. I will import it and store it in my lakehouse also. So this is the approach. So these are the ways most of the real-time projects will try to extract it, but we will not build at a time one complete project in 1 hour, but I'm just trying to showcase as per the time permit, how we are going to pull the data, how we are going to load it and store it into the lakehouse. And this concept, like Microsoft Fabric already, Amit has been derived. I'm just trying to give it as a glimpses. So Microsoft Fabric is a single unified data platform where if you're observing different personas of tools like a data factory, data engineering, data warehouse related, data science related persona, that is the tools, all the tools will be get pre-occupied formula. So you can see it. So you can get it once Microsoft Fabric has been enabled, that particular feature from the administrator part. So we can see all these features as in the form of an item, new item, so that we can get use of Data Factory for building the data pipelines and the data engineering for maybe if the team is having a capability on working on PySpark or Python languages, we can make use of data engineering. And maybe I want to use the data warehouse to make use of my larger models as well as the storing the historical data. I can create data warehouse in the Microsoft Fabric workspaces and data science and real-time intelligence. So maybe if you are working on the real-time projects like IoT related or sensor related, and even the traffic, maybe the project depends upon. So we can get it extract via event house and event streaming data source systems by using real-time intelligence too. So all this will be get stored in the one lake. One lake is the pillar there. So where all your structured information, unstructured information will be get stored in the Microsoft Fabric foundation part. And what about this Microsoft Purview in the sense for the data governance prospect, maybe you want to reuse it for the next projects or next builds, we can make use of this Microsoft Purview as a part of segregation and the resource allocation for it. Let me showcase to you. So how we are going to get it enabled from the Microsoft Fabric. Once you can connect to the app.powerbay.com. You can try to connect to the admin portal, and from there we can enable this Microsoft Fabric. And another way of connecting is maybe if you want to get connected to the Microsoft Fabric directly, app.fabric.microsoft.com. Two ways we can get it connect. From Microsoft Power BI, we can able to see Microsoft Fabric environment, or directly we can also navigate and connect to the Microsoft Fabric environment. So first, we have to get it turned on this feature from the admin portal once the admin tenant has been enabled. So we can start using these features from our activities part. Fine. As I said, how we are going to get it create a lake house. So what are the ways? So if you're observing the data, I'm going to extract it via different sources, like as I said, data flows, I'm going to use it, and existing lake house, I'm going to use it. That is one of the warehouse, and I'm going to pull some more files by using data flow gen 2 as well. So we will extract it, and all the data, whether it is a structured or unstructured files, will be get stored in a lake house in the form of a Delta Parquet format file. And from there, maybe if you want to do some advanced analytics, we can make use of a notebooks as well. So maybe if you're already using some Python notebooks locally, some other environment, we can import it and we can use it. And from there, the tables, the structured information will be get converted in the form of a tables, which I have mentioned as a Delta Lake partition tables. And directly we can use it for the next, for the data consumption, or else ready for the report runtime, we can use the Power BI application anyway. So whenever you can create a lakehouse, a new lakehouse explorer. So automatically SQL Analytics endpoint for the read-only activities which will be get created, and we can start utilizing just like a similar feature as like SSMS. We can see the Explorer window with schemas, and we can also change the schemas. By default schema is a DBO schema. We can change the schemas to some other, maybe if you're following with staging schema, we can change it, and we can create the staging schema, EDW schemas, and so on as per the development to another project's development part. Fine. As I said, how we are going to inject the data? We are going to inject the data first via shortcut approach. And I'm going to upload few of the files as well, and the data factory pipeline. And I can showcase you as a glimpses of the notebook, how we can try to showcase, inject the data via notebooks, and how we are going to get it configure the new source system by using notebook as well. Fine. So most of the project, if you're observing, even our, I'm working in one of the manufacturing and as well as automation project. So we are following a schema structure name called 3 layers in Microsoft Fabric, which is a raw data. We are trying to keep it in the bronze layer, and the processed information, that one will be get stored in a silver layer. We can create this layers kind of an approach as well. And finally, the ready to move or else ready to visualize, that data will be get stored in the form of a gold layer. So we will create in the form of a lakehouse in the form of a layers, and we will store the information as per the business requirements. So maybe I want to do some advanced analytics. By connecting to the bronze layer, which is in the lakehouse, I can get connect to the bronze layer. I can do the machine learning models and so on. Maybe I want to perform the data which will be get stored with the processed information from the silver. I can get connect to the silver configuration, silver layer, and we can further data enhancements part, we can use silver layer. And ready to go or ready to move option. So as I mentioned, the glow layer, we can get it extract, which will be supported with the transaction SQL language. We can create the data visualization by using this gold layer also. So it is something like a direct lake approach. Maybe if you are directly using the gold layer to extract the information to the Power BI, it's nothing but the data transfer is very faster compared to the import method, which we are currently using via connecting from Power BI desktops and direct query approaches. And directly it is importing the data. It is pulling the data from the lakehouse to your Power BI. That is consuming to the Power BI application. So it is supporting all kind of structured languages like structured data, semi-structured or unstructured information. Let me walk you through one glimpses of the differences. I just got the query as well. Data warehouse, if you are working with historical information and trying to visualize the data within tabular format, that will be get support with the relational data. And data lake, it is almost familiar as like Azure environment, Azure kind of a support user interface. We can get it experiment by using the big data lake houses as well. And the data, it will be get stored in data warehouse. It is a structured format. And that data lake, which is almost as Azure environment, it is semi-structured and structured as well. Fine. Let me walk you through how we are going to get it, extract the data into the Microsoft Fabric, and what are the ways, the exploration part in the lakehouse I'm going to showcase you now in my demo. I hope you are able to see my app.powerbi.com window. If you're observing here, so you can directly connect app.powerbi.com. In the down part, your interface has been changed. Power BI. Previously, we are able to see all the personas here, but there is a dedicated persona name called Fabric Persona. So you can see all the new items. Maybe if you want to get started with the Microsoft Fabric, we can see all the items like from the data extractions to inject the data by using different approaches, by using the data factories or data engineering via PySpark engines, or maybe if you want to get it extract from the data flows, we can see all the environments. But first of all, we need to have a dedicated workspace. So once we can create a dedicated workspace in Power BI, we can see the new item feature, and from there we can make use of different approaches. So first we need to store the data from different sources. Like as I said, lakehouse, I'm going to use the existing lakehouse, one lake, and I'm going to use new source systems from data flows and so on. So I can connect app.powerbi.com. This is one way. Another approach is directly you can type app.fabric.microsoft.com. Also directly you can see this front end page. So already this part is covered. So from the settings, so whoever, maybe if you joined late, so from this admin portal, so once you turn on this feature, then only we can utilize this Microsoft Fabric related functionalities and components. So once this has been turned on, so we can start exploring the Microsoft Fabric related content as well. Fine. Let's get started with creating the new workspace, and then I can showcase to you how I'm going to extract the data. Let me create a new workspace. New workspace. I'm giving the name as Here I'm using the trial license, Fabric trial account. You can see the capacity as well applied. So once the workspace has been created, so previously we are aware of premium content and so on, but this one is the Fabric content. So you can see here the diamond symbol with the Fabric content. So the data will be larger data set model, or else maybe as per the requirements and so on, we can get it extract and we can load and store the information in one lake as well. So once the workspace has been created, you are observing something like a new items. From here, as per the requirements, we can build a copy of the data as well. We can extract the data from via pipelines, and we can pull the data via data factories. And even if you want to get started with the warehouse building, we can create warehouse from here. So, but backend workspace is definitely mandatory. But our requirement, first, I need to store my data by extracting from different source systems. I need to create a lakehouse first. So let's try to check the lakehouse to store our data. So lakehouse, we can get it extract two kind of sources. That is a structured information, which is in the form of a tabular. Maybe if your data is something, files, maybe if your data is something like a JSON, XML files, we can get it extract via file source systems or shortcut also. Maybe if your source get resides on something like Amazon Web Service or Google Cloud Computing and so on, Google Cloud Source Systems, we can pull it via shortcut also. That part also I'm going to showcase to you. First, let's try to create a new lakehouse, giving the name as GPBB source lakehouse name. So once the lakehouse get created, you can see a user interface UI part on the left hand side with an explorer. With two kind of folders. By default, if you're observing the folders, that is Tableau and files. Tables, it is nothing but a managed source system. Automatically, if you're observing the right hand side, SQL Analytics endpoint has been created. So from here, this particular window, we can even navigate to the SQL Analytics endpoint by just configuring from Lakehouse to this Analytics endpoint. We can start writing the queries and so on. But this is just a read-only mechanism. We cannot create DML statements, will not support on this SQL Analytics endpoint from the Lakehouse to this SQL endpoint. So here, the managed source systems, we can get it stored from the table via, and file source system, maybe if you are extracting the data from unstructured, semi-structured, we can make use of this file source systems too. Fine. How we are going to pull this data from here? So this is the front end view. So I want to pull some data. As I said, I'm going to extract from one of the existing warehouse sales table. I don't want to duplicate it. I'm not going to re-extract it and make it as a duplicate of my lake houses. I'll just try to reuse my existing data set, which is already built in warehouse. So how we are going to do that? So as I said, I'm going to get it extract via shortcut. You can see the different ways to get it extract the data, like upload the files. You want to build a new pipeline, just a similar experience as like whoever worked on Azure Data Factory. And new data flow Gen 2 is as similar experience as like online Power Query editor. But now I'm going to extract the data from new shortcut, which is already existing file from in one of the lakehouse, and I want to pull it into my current lakehouse, that is GPBB source 2025. Maybe whoever working on the real-time analytics, you want to pull the data, we can make use of new event stream as well for the data extractions part. So for this, I'm going to use, you can see a small folder with a link option. This is nothing but new shortcut. So we're trying to pull the information from existing sources. So I'm making use of Microsoft OneLake. I'm not importing any new data source system. I'm using existing Microsoft OneLake for my internals extraction. Maybe if our data is external, maybe if you want to connect to the external source system, we can use external sources like Amazon S3 buckets, compatibility, ADLS2, and Dataverse, and Google Cloud Computing storage as well. Let me connect to the OneLake. And let me select, my table is already available in one of the existing warehouse, that is Fabric. You can see here, Fabric warehouse, and this has been created some time back, and the location is Fabric warehouse demo. Let me pull this. So I'm connecting to the table from this warehouse. Click on this. So you can see what are the tables that are available in the existing warehouse. So all the structured information, structured tables will get visible to you on your tables part. And from here, we need to pick which table you want to reuse it for this new project. So I'm just trying to connect from this table. It will take some time as per the network speed and bandwidth. Let me enhance it. It's by default schema is GBO. So maybe if you're working with a dedicated schemas also, we can get it created. That's what I'm saying. Whenever you can start creating a data warehouse, okay, from the existing folder or else lake houses. So I'm trying to pull it from sales fact, which is one of the file, sales fact table. And you can see here, the data files will get stored in the form of a table with link. So the data will get stored in the form of a Delta Lake. So let's try to connect it, sales fact. And even if you want to rename it for our references, the table information, we can rename it. Well, let me give it as an, because I'm trying to extract it from the WWI sales, worldwide importers. I'm giving the rename it as an WWI underscore sales. Validate it. Let's try to create it. It will take some time to get visible onto this particular lake house, GPB source 2025. You can see the seconds, how much time it is going to take, that down. As per the data, how much data you are extracting. If you're working with the larger models, larger data capacities, it will take as per the, I'm currently using the trial account. So if you are going with the Fabric licenses with F64, F32, so based on that, the data extraction, as well as you can see the bandwidth wise, you can see the information. So this is the information, date, city ID, customers, and so on. The first table, which I have pulled it from this sales fact. Let's try to pull one more table from the same shortcut. One more. Just connect it. Let me pull it via another file, WWI. Let me rename it. This is my fact table, which I want to reuse it for this. Succeeded. You can see the success notification instantly. This particular table also will be visible to you here. Sales fact. Fine. If you're observing, once the table has been extracted via shortcut, you can see a symbol, an icon called a link with a delta symbol, triangle symbol, which we are calling it as an delta load. So it's a completely processed information on the table. You can see it on the right hand side as a part of data preview, a completely structured information. That's fine. So how we are going to get it extract as per the current session from different sources. As I mentioned, first I have pulled the information from a shortcut, one of the table, that is WWF fact sales. And let's try to extract remaining sources that are available. Let me navigate it to my page. Here via data factory pipeline, that is sales order tables. How are we going to get it extract? So this time via data factory, I'm going to extract the data from an on-premises source system. That means the table is available in my local database from SQL Server Management, and I'm going to get it extract, that is sales orders table. This particular table, I want to pull it and store it into the lakehouse. So I will showcase you the process. What are the things that we have to turn on to extract the data from on-premises to the cloud base, that is lakehouses. First, we need to have a proper gateway connection. It has to link up and it should be online. So if you're observing, my configuration has been, my data gateway is in online. And even just to try to cross-verify your gateway is online or not, just by connecting here, manage gateways. So make sure that it should be online whenever if you are connecting from an on-premises source system to the cloud base, that is lakehouse environment. Make sure that it is online. So from here we can navigate it. So one window to the another window. Let me navigate to the lakehouse. So how we are going to extract the orders table from this on-premises? So get data. So I'm using, to showcase the different ways. Currently, I'm using the new data pipeline. It's a similar experience as I said, Azure Data Factory. Let me rename it instead of calling it as a pipeline, orders, WWI orders table. So from here itself, it's trying to navigate to the another window, user interface. You can see here WWI orders table. On the left hand side, to navigate it from one window to the another window, if you're observing the house with a small flow, that is nothing but a lake house. And currently we are creating the data pipeline, WWI orders table. This is the pipeline icon. So from here, how we are going to get connect to the that particular SQL server. So on-premises SQL server. Let's try to connect to it, SQL Server database. So we need to provide a dedicated server details, a server name, and also the gateway connection. It has to be getted configure. Let's try to call the server name. As I said, I'm using basic, and the database name is optional. So we can see the list of databases that are available from your on-premises SQL Server 2. Let me click on the next. So what are the activities we are performing when you are connecting to the data pipeline? On the left-hand side, if you're observing, you are trying to copying the data into the lakehouse. So from where? So we are using to extract the data from an SQL server. After that, we are providing the data source connections. Next, we have to choose the destination, data destination, where you want to get it stored that particular table. And finally, if we want to remove any particular columns, if it is not useful, we can see the complete mapping overview. And last, we can see the complete review plus save, the complete flow from where to where the data is getting transferred. So let's try to configure it. 1 second, it's loading. And in the meantime, if you have any queries, please post it. Yeah, it's coming up. So I want to connect to this sales data importers, which is already available. You can see here, this is my database, sales data importers. I want to connect to the sales data importers. Let me connect to this. Click on next. So we are trying to connect a particular table from this database, sales data importers, that is sales order table. We can search it from here, queries part, orders table, sales orders table. On the right hand side, you can see as it is, that is the data preview with some records, how it looks like. This completely tabular model. Just selecting next, we know this. So here, this configuration part is very important. So the root file, root folder is table, and load setting. Do you want to overwrite the existing table or you want to create it as a new table? So I want to create it as a new table because it's a new development. And I want to extract, I'm extracting the data from one of the file, one of the source from data factory, data pipelines. So I want to create it as a new table. So giving the naming standard as is WWI sales order. So from here, column mapping part, as I said, if some unwanted, like a binary columns or as binary types, you want to delete the columns, we can delete it from here. We can delete it. If it is unwanted columns, we can remove that unwanted columns from here. Like example, maybe I'm not going to use last edit time, last edit by. So these columns are important. So I'm just doing some like cleanup activities from here itself to load what are the columns that we need to maintain. And also data types from the what is the backend data type has been created. After loading onto the destination, what is the data type configuration? We can observe it from time to time. So let's try to click on next. So you can see the review plus save part from where to where you are trying to copy that information, copy that particular table. So I'm trying to copy from on-premises SQL server sales.order tables to this destination lakehouse, fabric lakehouse. So my lakehouse name, you can see here on the table name, I just modified it as a WWI sales order. I want to start the data transfer immediately. By default, this configuration is enabled. Just try to save it and run. So it will take some time as per the data set size. So it's trying to execute. You can see the pipeline is getting executed. And you can see the notifications window, whether the status is succeeded or not from here itself. So it's still executing. You can see the success notification once this particular pipeline has been completed. So from below configuration, I'll just try to give a glimpses here. Maybe I want to give a proper naming conventions. We can rename it. By default, this is the naming convention, copy underscore 62E. We can change it. And the source from where to where we are trying to copy that information. Destination, we know this is into the lakehouse, and the mapping part, the configuration. Still, you want to do some more removal of the column, or else you want to review the data, we can review it from this mapping point. And even we can create the data fault tolerance on the data log files also. Maybe if there is some failure, you want to re-execute it automatically by these pipelines, we can, as per the schedule, we can re-attempt it as well. So how we are going to schedule it from the data pipelines? So here we have a concept option name called activities, run scheduler. So it will get supported with the different frequencies. So repeat by minute or hourly basis, weekly or monthly basis, we can schedule these jobs. And also we can configure the sensitivity label also. So currently, if you're observing, this particular pipeline has been successfully executed. You can see the status symbol as well. Let's try to navigate. So we no need to open any new browser or else something. From here itself on the left-hand side, you can see GPPB source 2025, which is our Lakehouse. Just try to connect to this, open this and refresh it here. The new table, orders table would be visible to you here, WWI sales orders table. So in this way, we can try to pull and extract the data from on-premises to your Lakehouse. Fine, let's try to extract few more tables via different approaches, that is Dataflow Gen 2 and then manual extraction via CSV files too. Fine. So what I will do in the sense, assume that I have the files has been downloaded in my local drive. I want to get import these files, set of files into my Lakehouse. So these files I have downloaded already. You can see here, WWS cities, customer name, date, and so on. And the main thing, if you're observing, few tables, the data format is CSV format, comma separate value, and few files on the Excel file format. So how we are going to pull this information into the Lakehouse? So please observe here, this time what I will do in the sense, I will try to get it extract via file source systems, and the file, if you're extracting the data via files in the sense, the tables will be unstructured or semi-structured. That's what I said. So here we have a concept. If the multiple files, you want to get it import, we can use folder, or maybe if you want to get it import file by file, we can use upload via files too. So all files that are available in a folder. So what I will do in this sense, I'm going to extract it via folder itself. Click on this folder, try to configure the path, local path that is available here on my desktop. Folder, see here, it's a folder, right? Upload it all 7. It's a new files. It's not an overwritten. New files. You can see the file extensions. You just observe XLS and some are CSV file source system. Let me remove it. And this is my folder. All the files will be get visible to you on this files part. So if I'm selecting here, the CSV is by default. We can see the delimiter is the comma separator. And if I'm trying to connect, select this XLS, the data preview is not visible. So it is something like we need to make use of some other way to get it extract these XLS files. Fine. How we are going to extract this CSV file format to the table conversion? It's as simple as easy. So see here, WWA customer names, customer sales customer table, and one more table is the date table. I'm going to load it in the form of a table view. So it's as simple. Please observe here. 3 dots option, select it. I want to load it in the form of a table. By using, I want to define it. It's a comma separator is my delimiter there. New table, I'm using as is, and comma separator, just try to load it. This feature, if you are extracting the data via CSV, is as simple as load the tables into the table format. It's a table approach is there. Suppose if I'm trying to connect, once this is done, let me showcase to you. WWI cities.xls. If I'm trying to use similar approach, I'm not able to see an option that is load. Though the Excel file is also having a tabular format, but I'm not seeing the information something like load into the table format. So these tables, these CSV Excel files, I'm going to use a different approach. As I said, I'm going to use a Dataflow Gen 2 to extract this information into my Lakehouse. Let me pull remaining CSV files into this table kind of a format. First, I have extracted. Let me refresh. Customer tables has been loaded. Date table, which is in the form of a CSV, load it in the table. New table it is via delimiter is comma separator, load it. And the last table, sales customer table, is holding the customer details. Let's try to load this table also in the form of tabular format, new. Naming convention, I'm using same. Three tables, but Excel files, we have a limitation. We are not able to have an option that is loaded into the table format. So for this, XLS, I'm going to use a different approach to get it visible to me on the tabular folder. So these Excel files, I'm going to extract it via Dataflow Gen 2 get data. I'm using a feature that is a new Dataflow Gen 2 tool to get it extract. Give the naming convention properly so that it is easy to identify the table information, from where we are extracting. Extract data flow sales. Sales created. So this one I'm saying the similar experience as like Power BI desktop level. We can see all the components and usage part. So we can see the get data option and the center, the water preview with trying to extract the data from an Excel files, or maybe if you want to connect to an SQL Server database, all the different, like more than 100 plus data source systems, we can extract it as per the business requirements. As similar experience as like Power BI desktop. Fine. How we're going to pull this information into this Excel files? We know it is as simple as easy. Via get data, we can extract it, these Excel files. From here to import data from an Excel, we can extract it. Maybe you can just try to configure the browse from OneDrive. We can just try to provide the path. That is fine. We can provide the path and we can pull the information. Let me showcase to you one approach. Browse from OneDrive. Or else let me provide the path also. WWI, 3 Excel files here. I'll just try to extract it once. See here, only one file at a time we can connect, not all the Excel lists, one file at a time. WWS cities I'm trying to pull, select it. Next. So these configurations are by default. Click on next. One sheet, select. These are the fields, city ID, city name, state, province ID. Create. So whenever you can start creating, it's open a Power Query editor window. As I said, it is similar experience as like a Power BI desktop Power Query editor. So you can see all the M language functionalities and everything, the similar views and approaches. And here we can configure where you want to store this particular sheet one. So instead of calling it as a sheet one, let me rename it as an WWI cities table. And these are the fields. And the right hand side, you can see the data transformation steps 2. And here we can get it configured as already Amit has been set. So we can configure the fast copy load also by using this approach. Options, fast copy data load part. Scale, allow fast copy connector. It's fine. I want to get the same destination to get visible to me. You can see in the whenever you are trying to unhover the lake house. This is my workspace, GPPBS SC 2025 lake house. I want to get added as a new table. Suppose you want to change the complete workspace, you want to store it into the separate, just try to remove it and try to load it into the different workspace as per the requirement as well. Fine, I'm using the same workspace, GPPBSC. Let's try to publish it. So you can have two options, publish now or publish later. Publish this particular cities one at a time, or maybe if you want to connect another table, another Excel files, you can get it added as from Power Query editor itself, that is in Dataflow Gen 2 itself. So this particular Dataflow Gen 2, let me navigate back. It's still executing, it's loading, extracting the data. And you can see the option once the extraction has been completed, you can see the notification window here. Let me refresh. Cities table should be visible. Once this particular data flow, you can see the data flow explain successfully has been executed. Let me refresh it in my lake house. Cities table. Cities table is visible to me partially. It's still executing. It's loading. Yes, cities table with a table with a delta symbol. So we have extracted the first extraction via existing shortcut. You can see a difference. Link with a diamond symbol, a triangle symbol, delta. This is one existing warehouse, and remaining I have pulled it via different ways. As I said, via data flows I have used. Another one I have used via data pipeline as well. And fine, let's try to pull remaining tables too. Few more tables are there. What I'm going to do in the sense, I will showcase you one more approach. New data flow gen 2, extract from blob. Few more files, I'm going to extract it via blob extraction. For this, we need to have a generated token ID if you're connecting to the blob extraction, and it should be a valid, maybe as per the configuration, as per the permissions and authorizations, we can get connect to the blob extractions too. So let's try to use the blob extraction this time to pull remaining Excel files. More options, blob. Assume that your data is get stored in one of the blob account container. Let me pull. I have the container name, account details. So see here, I'm using the SAS shared access signature for, which is a valid key ID. Let's try to get connect to this. And the file, assume that the file is available, one of the folder, one of the files. And let's try to pull it from here. Create. You can see whatever the data files, all the binary content. So from here, we can try to pick the required table information, which is I'm saying it as an Excel files, which I'm looking for state provincial details. And the another table, if you're observing another table, I'm going to extract it via warehouse items too, two Excel files. Let's try to pull it. Sales warehouse. A minute. Yeah, here. And let me rename it. Instead of calling it as a data files, this is one of the files, stock related. Rename it as like WWI stock details. So here itself, what I will do, instead of again opening the data flow gen 2 and try to re-extract, this time I'll just try to duplicate the current query. And let's try to pull state provincial details too, giving the name as state provinces, state details. And let me remove some of the data transformations on the right hand side. Connect to this. Data files. This time, state province file, I'm going to pull state province, which is the binary content. You can see the default destination GPP source and where it is going to store and so on. And here, these two tables, I'm going to get it visible once this particular data flow gen 2 has been published. Let me publish it. Currently, I'm using the same configuration. I'm not changing to any new sources. So let me navigate back to my Lakehouse. So just try to cross-verify whenever you are working on the project's path and the workspace, what are the items that is getting worked or else created. If you're observing, I have created a pipelines and a data factories by extracted via orders table, and I have used the existing warehouse, Lakehouse as well. I have pulled some of the tables and information too. So you just try to observe your workspaces, GPP SA 2025 workspace too. So once this has been completed, just navigate back to the Lakehouse, refresh it. You can see both of the tables with the name WWI state province, and another table is stock details as well. So from here, if you're observing, these are the tables which we have extracted from different sources. And you can see the state, province, as well as stock details. We have pulled it via blobs account, and some of the tables with some other functionality, some other tools we have extracted. Fine. So how we are going to prepare a data model? Assume that these are all the tabular data. I want to create a new semantic model, a connectivity between one table to the another table. So here itself, we have an option to create the new semantic model. Or still, you want to perform some more SQL analytics, SQL related activities like optimization, or else maybe you want to observe the quick analysis, we can change it to the SQL analytics endpoint. We can also do some more visual analysis too. Like we can try to build some more pipelines. We can perform those activities too. But fine, what I will do in the sense, as per the time permits, I'll just try to create a new semantic model. Click on this. So whatever the tables we have extracted from here, we can try to pick the required tables, or maybe if you don't want the unwanted tables, we can just try to unselect it as well. So we have to give a proper naming convention. So you can observe direct lake semantic model. So we have to name it as an Power BI. In Power BI environment, we will see the table information, the particular connected table in the form of a direct lake, direct data transfer from one lake to this application. So there is no import approach. So let me give it as an sales project semantic model name. From here, as I said, the required tables, we can try to select it. So as I said, I'm going to connect my fact table, and let's try to pull sales order as well. Let me connect date table. Okay, and customer table. So unwanted tables, assume that some unwanted tables is also available for some other activities, or some other advanced analytics. So for a few of the tables I have picked, and let's try to create a new semantic model. So once you created it as a new semantic model, in your workspace also, this particular semantic model will be visible to you with these tables only. So maybe sometimes if you want to share these tables analysis with some user who want to get it analyzed, or else maybe who want to view, or else take it as a reference for the semantic live connections, we can use these semantic layer approaches too. So it's trying to open a semantic model, just like a Power BI data model view approach. So from here, we can give the connections, the configurations to like one to many, this kind of an cardinalities we can try to maintain. Let me showcase to you that quickly by connecting here. So how can we identify, is this a direct model? So if you're observing on hover on this particular table, the storage method, we are aware of it. On Power BI, that is a direct query approach where we are trying to extract the data tables from backend database to Power BI. But here we are trying to pull this information from cloud environment, from the one lake. You can see the storage method is direct lake approach. So let's try to give it some configuration, some connections here. So it's supporting all the cardinalities, like if you want to give the relationships between one table to the another, all the 4 types of cardinalities. So we can use the manage relationships, or you can also drag and drop, and we can provide the relationships configurations too. Giving the first table is my fact and sales order. So it will take some time to get it connect. So order ID based, I want to give the connection from the fact table, fact. And as I said, the cardinality is supporting all 4. Few days back, there is no many-to-many relationship. So now this one also has been added as per the business requirements and so on. So let's try to save it. And the cross filter direction, by default, it is a single. So we can change it to the both configurations too. Fine, I'm just showcasing between these 2 tables. So how we are going to create some new measures, or some, maybe I want to create some group calculations group. So from here itself, we can create calculation groups or new measures. Maybe if we want to add any new columns, calculated columns, we have to do it, those activities in the lakehouse and while extracting the tables via those notebooks and so on. We have to create the new columns. But here on the Power BI front-end part, it will be showcase new measures or new calculations groups will be created. Fine. how we are going to navigate to the report view. So from this files, previously we are able to see the option like create a new report functionality here itself. But on the files part, you can see a new report creation. It's again one more user interface UI it is trying to open for the Power BI with those tables alone. So whatever the semantic model we have fetched, with those tables, we can see that particular connections and so on. So from here, the right hand side, we'll just try to drag and drop. We can build the data visualizations accordingly. So let me showcase you very quick. Like maybe I'll just try to add quantity, metric, and change it to the cart. Let me duplicate it. Let me showcase you these measures. We can create it like maybe I want to see the profit and the model view. When creating the profit, you just try to create it as a measure as well. But haven't done because of the time constraint. Let me add a few more because we have already given the connections as to. Let me showcase between customer. Okay, order ID based. Order name based quantity. So it's as simple as easy. We can easily drag and drop. So I'm currently using not a date create table. So we can also create the date table as a references. Fine. So once assume that you have created a report and you want to save it. So we have an option here to save it, Control S. And also we can assign it as the visualizations part, we can mark it. So currently I haven't assigned it. So I'm just trying to give the report name, sales report, save it. So on this particular workspace, GPPBSA 2025, if you can try to navigate back, you can see a lot of activities like we have extracted via blob, that is via Dataflow Gen 2. We have created a lakehouse. Inside the lakehouse, a semantic model which has been dynamically created, and also the report creation. So these are all comes under in particular workspaces. Fine. I'll just try to showcase to you one more and then I can close it. So how we are going to get it navigate for advanced analytics to a notebook configuration. So here we can create it as a new notebook, or maybe you already prepared a notebook by using different languages like Python or PySpark. We can also import it by using an existing notebook. So it is not a direct approach. So from this workspace itself, we have an option name called import. So let me showcase you that. So import. So you want to use a new notebook means we can import it from this computer or PNB files. And then that particular files, existing files, it will be visible to you on this Lakehouses part. So it is supporting multiple languages as I said. So let me showcase you one of the existing notebook. What are the languages? Maybe if you want to do some advanced analytics for data cleansing operations by using the notebooks. So these are the languages it is supporting. By default, it is in PySpark language. So PySpark, and these are the different languages like PySpark, Scala, Spark SQL. And this is the recent functionality which has been added from Microsoft TSQL. Previously, it was not there, and Python direct languages too. So it's a simple drag and drop. After that, we can just see the lot of configurations and compute engines here when you're working on the data, notebook creations and so on. So I'm stopping up to this part. And if you have any queries and concerns, just post it in the chat box.